What's going on, guys? It is currently 4:40 in the morning. I woke up around 3, showered, got ready, and I'm about to do some work, but I wanted to pump a video out for you guys real quick. I've recorded a bunch of them, actually, my first podcast videos, but then I never posted them because it was after I got home from work. I was very tired, and so I didn't really do the greatest job conveying my ideas. It was very unclear, very up in my head, so I decided not to post them. I'm giving it a thought as far as I'll probably just re-record them because, I don't want to put out shit content. But this is the first episode of the series. So I was originally going to call it a podcast, but this isn't exactly the podcast setup. I'm in my apartment just chilling, and I don't have the equipment necessary, but I'm looking at picking up some new equipment. I'm looking at headsets, microphones, thinking about getting a new computer, but I hate change. That's a problem I have. I hate change. So getting a new computer, I'd have to get used to the whole thing, and it's just annoying to me. So until this shitty Chromebook breaks or something, I like it because it's very user-friendly. It was cheap. It cost me like $350, and it just gets the job done. And I've become accustomed to Google Docs and Google Sheets and stuff instead of Microsoft Office, which you got to pay for. So that's where I'm at now. I'd like to get a new computer, but they're also very, very expensive. So I have this one, and I have a touchscreen HP that I used for basically everything, and that's where I had my video editing software. And so I have to download a new one on here, which is going to be interesting because the Chromebooks have a lot of compatibility issues. So that's one of the concerns with this that I don't like, but I digress. So that's when I'm going to put out, someone suggested that I make like mobilization videos and warm-up videos and stuff like that, like what I do before my workouts. And I'd be more than happy to do that, but I got to first download some sort of video editing software on here because uploading it, I could probably upload it from my iPhone. I don't know. I could probably download an app right on here, and then I could do it right from my phone. That would be easy. Because I did record a bunch of clips already for what I do, basically lower body dynamic warm-ups and stuff like that I like to do before leg training to kind of open up your hips, loosen up your hamstrings, and get you ready to destroy legs. But I wasn't sure where I wanted to take this first minicast. Usually, I'm sure people do like biographies and things like that, talk about themselves, but I thought that'd be a little bit boring. Most of you guys know me. You've been following me for a long time, but I will say that I'm nothing like I was last year, not to mention what I was like back in 2013, 2014 when I started making videos. So I've evolved a lot. I've grown a lot. I'm not even close to the same person. I'm a lot more mature. I'm a lot more level-headed. I'm a lot more assertive and responsible. And I just have a lot more knowledge and wisdom than I had back then. And so, I have different goals. I have different interests. And so I don't know, maybe I could do a video like that. I don't know. I don't want to seem conceited or just rattle on about myself for 20 minutes, but who knows? I'm debating whether I want these mini casts to be, multiple topics in a video, or if I want to just stick to one and then kind of keep the videos to 10 to 15 minutes, because I know listening to someone rattle on to a camera for 30 minutes is a bit much, and most people aren't going to watch that. I could see the analytics as to where people usually click off, how long they pay attention to, and things like that. So I just want to provide content to you guys and kind of express my opinions and my thoughts on things. And so that's kind of the purpose of this, and to provide a bunch of different opinions and different points of views on a whole bunch of different topics, because I think that one of the most critical things is that you need to think for yourself, and you could listen to other people and you could look up to other people, but at the end of the day, you have to make your own conclusions on things in all regards. So that's kind of what I feel and kind of what I hope to accomplish. It's not so much me just like downloading all my fucking thoughts onto you guys, but it's just expressing myself, expressing my opinion, getting people to think and question things, and also to entertain, I guess, too. That's one part of it, because I did enjoy that about making YouTube videos in my prior 300 videos, is that I think some of the content is relatively entertaining, and also you can gain some insight and some knowledge too. And that's another thing that I like, is I want to inform people and educate people and, share the little bit of knowledge that I have. So I'm going to take a drink. This is a free product plug, I guess, from these Reign energy drinks. They're pretty dope. It's very similar to the Bang energy drinks, but apparently this has like natural caffeine. It's a different taste, and I really like it. It's 300 milligrams of caffeine, and they're very sweet. I'm weird because for some reason, every time I sit down to do work, I wear dress clothes. So right now I'm wearing like dress pants and dress shoes and this. Usually I wear like a long sleeve, but I didn't really feel like it today. I didn't feel like putting a tie on, so I'm just chilling. I'll probably go to Starbucks or something in like a few hours once it gets later, because I think they open at like 6 or something, 6 or 8. But anyway, the topic of this video, basically, I wanted to go into how I create a workout program and kind of everything in that realm. So as you guys know, originally I started, my first project writing is the book that I'm currently working on. That's like my main project, but I also have 2 mini projects that aren't as serious, but I'm writing 2 other books that are kind of completely unrelated. One is about politics and kind of the history of politics in our country, explaining critical things to our government and things like that. I just kind of got involved in that, and I have a shitload of references that I'm using. There's going to be probably like 150 references by the time the book is done. It's going to be huge, but that's kind of like a side project that I'm not really that serious about, and I just work on it when I feel like it. And the other one is about, it's called Creating the Perfect Workout Program, and that's kind of, this is going to be like a fast-paced version, more specific to me as opposed to like the general public. This is off the cuff, so I'm kind of just going with it. That's how I do all my videos. Sometimes I might take a couple notes here and there, but this one is just off the cuff. But I did have a piece of paper from earlier that I'm going to kind of show you guys and explain. So the first thing that you got to do when determining a workout program is, what is your goal? And this is something I ask myself. Is my goal to get stronger? Is my goal to put on muscle? Is my goal to preserve muscle? Or is it just to basically perform better in terms of just endurance or functional training, things like that? I'll tell you right now, that is not my goal ever. It should be. I should be doing HIIT. I should be doing some calisthenics, but I'm not a fan. I don't like it. And, you know, it keeps your heart healthy, but for me, I hate that kind of training. So that brings me to number 2. You got to figure out what's enjoyable for you. And for me, I like doing exercises that I enjoy. I like to get a nasty pump. That's why strictly strength training is not the way for me. I've done Jim Wendler 531, which is a solely powerlifting program, and I couldn't do it because it wasn't enough. I don't want to say it wasn't enough volume, but there weren't enough exercises for me because it's very specific and they don't want you to do a lot because you have a harder time recovering. And so, you know, it mainly works on your slow twitch muscle fibers instead of your fast twitch. So, or no, your fast twitch instead of your slow twitch, I believe. Because it's just strictly centered around power and getting stronger. And to me, that's not my personal goal. So figure out your goal, and then you got to figure out what makes you happy and what's enjoyable for you. Because if you're going every single day into a workout that you just dread, you know, you're not enjoying the gym, it's going to feel like a job. And as soon as it starts to feel like a job, you're going to lose motivation. You're not going to want to go. You're not going to make progress. And what's really the point, right? Because the whole point of you doing this is because you want to feel good. You want to feel, you know, more energized, and you want to feel productive, and you want to feel better, and you want to make results, right? Why would you go to the gym if you're not making any results? I mean, some people do that, and some people go to stay healthy and things, which I totally understand. But for me, I'm very competitive. I want to see results. And, you know, when I don't, or if my training style isn't yielding the results that I want, I change things. And that's what you have to do. You have to adapt and adjust things. And some people forget that because they're like, oh, I've tried everything, but really they haven't. And we'll get into that later, and we'll get into the exercise selection later. But this is the start point for me. What I do is, as you can see from this piece of paper, there's like shit, there's like coffee and all kinds of shit all over this. But what I do is I write out for each body part a list of exercises. So I'll read some of these off. Should I read all of them off? It might take me a little bit. My mouth is going to get dry too. I'll try to hurry. I'm not going to go through all of them. Fuck that. So for example, chest, you've got your flat incline and decline barbell press, flat incline, decline dumbbell press. You've got dips, both free weight dips, weighted dips, and dip machines. Cable fly, low cable fly, medium cable fly, dumbbell fly. You've got the machine cable fly. You've got plate presses. You've got the ones where you hold the dumbbells, you touch them in, and you press them up like this. I really like that one. That one gives me a good pump. I don't really know what to call it, so I just call it like dumbbells together press. Some of these I just come up with my own names for them because I don't know what they're called, technically speaking, or they're just kind of a made up thing. Yeah, that's literally what I call it, dumbbell together press. Then for back, you've got things like pull-ups, chin-ups, wide grip pull-downs, under grip pull-downs, seated cable row, dumbbell row, V-bar pull-down, bent over, pendulum row, the rack pull, rack chin, high cable pull-downs. You've got the high row machine, dumbbell pullovers. Technically, you could do deadlifts for back or legs. I typically do them on leg days, as you guys know. Same with rack pulls. I think I might have already said that. Shoulders, you got standing overhead press, seated overhead press, dumbbell press, lat raise machine, front dumbbell press, where you kind of sit and you hold the dumbbell here and you push up like that. It really hits your front delts and some upper chest also. You got face pulls, barbell shrug, dumbbell shrug, Arnold press, machine shoulder press. The list is endless. I'm not going to name all those. There's a million different movements for shoulders. The biggest thing is you want to hit all three heads. So you want to hit your front head, medial head, and the rear delt. And most people don't hit the rear delt, and that's why a lot of people have injuries. That's something that definitely needs to be taken care of, even if it's just face pulls with a rope. 12 to 15 reps, 4 sets, something simple. As long as you're hitting them, you really need to, because it's going to help with your range of motion, your mobility, and also prevent from muscle imbalances, because that's where a lot of people have issues when they're bench pressing and they snap their shit up, or maybe it's doing back movements and they snap their shit up because their muscles aren't balanced. And that's a big reason with leg training too. A lot of people have imbalances between quad and hamstring, and like weakness of specific like joints and tendons and stuff, and so they end up pulling something or they strain something and they can't figure out why, and then they're forced to rehab it or do shitloads of dynamic stretching and things like that, or dynamic warm-ups, which I've had to do in the past because of things like that. So you got quads, there's things like leg extensions, squats, goblet squats, single leg press, the lunge, walking lunge, or lunge onto a bench. You got the leg press, front squat, hack squat. And then for hamstrings, you got like Romanian deadlifts, stiff leg deadlifts with barbell or dumbbell, sumo deadlifts, hamstring curls. There's lying and standing, depending on the gym and your equipment. Deficit deadlifts, high leg press with your feet close together. That hits more of the hamstrings and kind of outer quad, versus if you just do basically shoulder width or wider, that's more so just hitting quads, like your vastus lateralis and a couple other muscles in your quads and in your thighs. For biceps, you got barbell curl, preacher machine, alternating dumbbell curl, incline dumbbell curl, concentration curl, incline spider curl, hammer, pinwheel curl, reverse barbell curl, cable curl. Again, there's like 50 other ones there too. The movements are different. They're endless, and there's a ton of different ways that you can do it. Main thing, you just got to figure out what works the best for you. How can you feel it the most? Because if you're doing a barbell curl and you're not feeling it in your biceps, or you're using your shoulders, you either need to lessen the weight or change the plane of movement. And there's a lot of different things you could do. There's a ton of different things. And triceps, this is one of the most extensive, because triceps, you have 3 heads of your tricep. You want to make sure to hit all 3, and that's a problem a lot of people have, and that's why they don't see a lot of growth, is because they're not hitting all 3 heads. Most people are just doing rope press downs and that's it, or they're doing simple machine movements and they're only hitting basically from one plane of motion, and the range of motion is the same basically for all of them. So definitely mix it up. Definitely take a bunch of different movements. I usually like to do 3 or 4 movements per body part, as far as like biceps, triceps. Chest, I usually do 4. Back, I usually do 4, 5, or 6. And then legs, I just do a whole slew. So there's dips, close grip bench, dumbbell skull crushers, which is one of the best you can do. I like barbell skull crushers, I actually do. That's probably the best that you can do as far as mass that completely annihilates your triceps. You got the V-bar press down, rope press down, reverse grip press down, which is kind of, instead of doing it this way, you take the cambered bar that looks like a V and you go like that and you pull it toward you that way. Kickbacks, cable kickbacks, overhead dumbbell extension, overhead rope press, close grip push-ups. There's a whole bunch of different things you could do for that too. And so that is kind of what I like to do first, is I break it up by body part, write down the exercise, and then I figure out what have I been doing, what would I like to do, and what movements are enjoyable for me. So that's what goes into your exercise selection. Figure out what's effective, what movements you like, and then the next step is to figure out what days you want to train and how many rest days you're going to get, and then what your workout split is going to be. And this is highly individual. There's countless that you could do, literally. I've done specific workout programs that I found online, like the Arnold Blueprint was a really great program that I got really strong doing that. I saw really great results. Again, if you're trying to gain weight and you're trying to get bigger, you definitely want to be in a calorie surplus. Common sense. Check back to my old nutrition videos. If you're trying to lose weight, get cut up, kind of get more toned, feel better, calorie deficit, and adjust your training accordingly. Do want to increase volume a little bit when you're in a surplus and then decrease it a little bit. I could go into more detail surrounding kind of volume and how you should change it, whether you're bulking or cutting, but that's a topic for another video. So there's the Arnold Blueprint, shortcut to size, shortcut to, shortcut to shred, I think it is. I don't know if that's Arnold, or I think it's Arnold, or maybe Muscle Farm. Gym 1, their 5-through-1 I've done, which is a good strength program. I did a specific program when I worked with 3DMJ, and they provided me with like a spreadsheet, which is similar to what I did with my coaching practice. I did it a lot different, really, but the main scheme was the same, where you have the exercise on one side, above it, what you trained, then the rep scheme that's planned, the weight you did, set 1, how many reps you did, set 2, how many reps you did, set 3, how many reps you did, set 4, how many reps you did, and then you're able to multiply it all to figure out your total volume for that workout. And then you can go week to week and see how your volume changes. You always want to make sure the volume's increasing, really, for most people. And again, depends on your goal, but that's kind of the way that I like to do it. And then aside from, if you don't want to follow a specific program, there's a bunch of other things you could do. You could build your routine, and that's kind of what I'm introducing here. So figure out how many days a week you want to train and how you can split it up, because in terms of natural lifters, and I would say even enhanced lifters, hitting each body part 2 times a week is usually the sweet spot. You could do 2 to 3, 3 for lagging body parts, or 2 just all around. Or if you want to do, you could do 1 body part each day. But again, frequency is key and volume is key in terms of reaching the best results. So currently right now, basically, I'm going through a restructuring again, because I'm working on my book with a lot of my free time, and it's slowing down my gym time. I'm not able to hit the gym as much because I wake up early, get a bunch of work done, and then I just go to work. So I currently work 2:30 to 11. So, and then with drive time and everything, I got to leave my house a little after 2, and I don't get home till like 11:30. So I got to kind of prioritize and go to the gym when I can. So currently I'm going to the gym about, aside from a week and a half that I've went like 2 or 3 times, I've been kind of slacking this week because I'm really trying to get this shit done and taken care of. But usually I go 5 days a week, 5 or 6 days. And usually what I do is I do like chest, shoulders, tries, and then I do back, buys, and then I do legs, take a day off, and then continue. Or sometimes I just do it chest, shoulders, tries, back, buys, legs, chest, shoulders, tries, and then take a day off. It kind of depends on how I feel, how my schedule is going along, if I'm well rested, and I make those adjustments accordingly. And it kind of mixes between that, and then I do back and shoulders together, and then I do chest and arms together, and then I do legs. And usually with my leg workouts, very similar to how it used to be, I'll do like 1 leg workout that is more quad emphasis, and then the next workout is more hamstring emphasized. So it's a balancing act, and you got to figure out how you're going to be able to balance basically your social life, your work life, and working out, and you can't let one area overtake all the others. One other thing to keep in mind is cardio. Currently, the only cardio that I'm doing is fucking, because I hate cardio, and let's be honest, it's a drag and it takes a lot of time and it's boring, and I feel like I could be doing way more productive things than sitting on a treadmill for 30 minutes. Although back when I worked with 3DMJ, I was doing off-season cardio 2 times a week, basically an hour a week, and it sucked. But it did keep me healthy, and I probably should be doing cardio, but I just don't enjoy it. So if I don't enjoy it, I don't want to do it because I'm dreading going to the gym, and then it's just excess time. And especially during the work week, I don't necessarily have that extra time. So, final thoughts. Let me see. So we went over exercises, how many days a week. You got to figure out how many days a week, the number of exercises, the number of sets. And I would say number of sets and reps is entirely up to you. For me, usually what I do is I change it up when things start getting monotonous, when I don't start to see the results that I want. That's when I change. So whether it's changing exercise, like right now, I just phased out flat bench. I've been doing flat bench press for 3 to 5 reps on flat bench for a year and a half. And so I switched it out, and now I'm doing only incline dumbbells, and I'm doing some incline barbell here and there. As far as my exercises, again, I'm starting to work on, that's why I wrote this up, is I'm working on a program so I could do the same thing and then track my progress like I used to, instead of going in and doing instinctive training. And there's nothing wrong with instinctive training. I really enjoy it because you can go in and feel your body and figure out what works for you. And sometimes you go to the gym and all the machines are taken. For example, I woke up really early last week, I went to the gym to train legs. I train at LA Fitness, and my whole mindset was, I'm going to go do legs. I'm going to do like 10 sets. I'm going to annihilate my legs on squats. 10 sets of squats is tough. Even 4 sets of squats fucking sucks. And every single squat rack was taken. And I was like, okay, well, I'll go do leg press. Every single leg press was taken. And I was like, what the hell? So then I had to start off with, which is nothing out of the ordinary. Usually I like to start off with hamstrings first. Usually I do ham curls first, and then I go do other compound movements instead. Like, then I'll do my compound movements. I'll start with, some form of hamstring, whether it's hamstring curl, stiff leg deadlift, things like that. So I had to start with stiff leg deadlifts, which is good when you're fresh, instead of, for me, my back tends to lock up after I squat. So I think that's something to do with not stretching enough or something. I'm not 100% sure, or it could be my squat form. It's hard to tell because I don't record myself squatting, so I don't really know if my form is where it should be. I could see from straight on in the mirror how it looks, but I can't tell from the side. So maybe that's something I should do, is record side video of my squats so I could kind of see how my form is. Because that's a difficult lift to, I guess, critique without really knowing what the issue is. So, and I had to improvise, and if I had a set program, that would throw everything off, because now I can't do the workout in order and I can't hit the exercise that I want to hit. So that's one good thing about instinctive training, and that's kind of why I've been doing what I've been doing. So another thing that I change is, once things get monotonous or I'm not getting the results, or I just want to change it up, is I change my rep range. So I'll of course increase volume, but then for the longest time, heavy compounds, squat, bench, deads, I've always done 3 to 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps. And part of it's out of laziness, and part of it is out of trying to gain as much strength as I can, and kind of satisfying my ego, I guess, ego lifting to a point. Just because I want to make sure that I'm as strong as I was, last week or the week before or a month before, things like that. So, and then for all the accessory movements, basically I do 10 to 12 reps or 10 to 15 reps. And so something that I like to do is, instead of doing that, I'll just do blanket 6 to 8 reps for all movements, compounds, accessories, everything. I'll just do 6 to 8 reps. And that's a nice way to change, because it's a hybrid between strength training and endurance training and hypertrophy training, and it's just a nice little blend, and it hits kind of that sweet spot. And 6 to 8 reps is great. And doing 4 sets, 6 to 8 reps, you could use a relatively heavy weight. You're doing enough reps to get a pump, and you're going to be able to see results. So then there's some other training styles that you can incorporate. You could try doing increasing time under tension, taking shorter rest intervals. One thing that I've really been incorporating lately, I've been doing it at the end of every single workout for biceps, triceps, hamstrings, and quadriceps, is occlusion training. So you guys remember I used to do blood flow restriction training way back in the day, where you tie the, basically I was using knee wraps. I also got medical tourniquets, but those broke. So now I'm using the knee wraps again like the old days, which looks fucking ridiculous and it's a pain in the ass to put on. I gotta get some new ones. I'm gonna order some from Amazon, maybe later. But there's some research regarding increasing growth hormone and testosterone and increasing protein synthesis in the muscles that you're doing it. Me personally, I don't really think that all of that is enough to make a difference. It's not gonna increase super physiological levels, increase your production to super physiological levels. So I do it basically for two main reasons, and that is to save my joints because you're lessening the load. Essentially what you're doing is you're picking a weight that you could do for, say, 30 reps. What you could normally do for like 50. So for example, tricep press downs on the rope. I'll do 57.5 or 62.5 for like 12 reps or so, right? With perfect form. So instead I'll do, 30 pounds or whatever it is, 32.5. I'll tie myself off and I'll do 30 reps. Then you rest 10 seconds and then you do 15, rest 10 seconds, 15, rest 10 seconds, 15, rest 10 seconds, 15. And then you're basically done. Or you could do an additional set. Usually I'll do like 4 to 6. And you're using less weight, so it's less stress on your joints, which is critical because I find myself, my wrists, my ankles, my knees, and also my elbows tend to just flare up like crazy. So if I can minimize that, I do it at the end of my workout. I just add it in. So, and additional growth. And of course, it gives you a nasty pump. So it's an insane pump. It's painful. It hurts. And when I do hamstrings and I tie them off, I like sit there and I like bite. I like basically break skin on my finger because it hurts so bad and I'm just pushing myself so hard. I don't recommend training like that, but well, actually I do, because quit being a pussy and just train hard. And that's what I do. So I've been doing occlusion training basically for all those body parts, and it's been working nice and it feels good. And I leave the gym with a nasty pump and I feel great. So that's basically all I'm going to say in this video. Those are some keys to building a workout routine. Again, figure out what workout kind of plan you want, the number of days, how many rest days do you need? Do you do like a 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off, or do you do set days during the week? Figure out what exercise you want, figure out your rep scheme, figure out just overall what will make you happy. And that's the biggest thing. And ensure that you're giving your body like 48 hours of rest before hitting another body part again. And remember, you're going to be hitting secondary movements on those major compound lifts. So you're going to be hitting your triceps, you're going to be hitting your shoulders when you're bench pressing or training chest, you're going to be hitting your biceps, your rear delts, your shoulders when you're hitting back. And just keep that in mind, because you might not want to throw in a shitload of volume if it's unnecessary when you're doing those kind of movements. So hope this video wasn't too long. It turned out to be 30 minutes. I didn't want it to be that long, but let me know what you guys think, and drop a comment down below. Let me know what workouts you guys have tried, because I'm always interested. Maybe I'll use these as kind of something I could add into my template when I go to make this current workout routine that I'm working on. So I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Mini cast episode 1 complete, and I'll see you guys around.